Hey, what's up, y'all? What's up? How you doing? Welcome to another episode of the Rich Anime Podcast, in which we come together to talk shit about anime as much as we want to. I'm my boy Ricardo, Kenny, Kevin. What's the good word?
What's going on, y'all? It's the Black Shogun. We here for another episode.
Listen, man, another week of ass whooping. I'm the one dishing them out, so as usual.
Man, please. Anyway, so going on to our first segment. So, in terms of Naruto and One Piece, two of the most beloved animes as far as I'm concerned in the world. And there's been two significant characters whose deaths impacted us the most, which is Jiraiya's and I think without a shadow of a doubt, these two deaths hit everyone in the heart pretty hard. I'm not gonna hold you. Jiraiya's death was more personal to me because Jiraiya was like the uncle of the show. He was like the uncle in your backyard, right? Compared to Ace, he was the much brother that you always needed. But I ask you guys, compared to both of them, whose death impacted the most in anime? Kevin, I'll start with you, bro.
I'm gonna go Ace. I say Ace just because of like the general. I think from the standpoint of like the community and like the people watching One Piece at the time, I hear all the time that Ace's death wasn't it. The death itself wasn't what killed everybody emotionally. It was what happened leading up to the death that killed everybody emotionally. It was like we went through what I think three different arcs that were pretty sizey in their own right, as to Luffy like climbing this ladder, so to speak, to getting to Ace from, getting sent away from Sabaody, losing his crew and whatnot. That was an emotional toll like no other. Till this day in the show, it's one of his deepest traumas, leading up to, him going to Amazon Lily and then making it to Impel Down and almost dying to Magellan with, Mr. 2 and that whole thing. It was very deeply traumatic, both emotionally, mentally, and physically for him. Finally, he gets to Impel Down. We're deep in there. Ace gets moved, so now it's like the goalpost moves once again, and it's like all the energy that he took to get there and get through all of that had to get dug in even more so to his much deeper reserves that we didn't really know was there, because now we have to move to Marineford. We get to Marineford. We go through all the things we go through to finally save Ace. And then he dies right in front of him. And it just, to me, watching it, as I said, for me, I definitely agree with the community in the sense of it wasn't necessarily the death of him that was like so impactful, but it was the buildup that got us there to how it ended. So that's me.
Go ahead, Kenny.
Wait, hold up. That's it?
Yeah, I'm gonna open it up to talk.
Okay. Interesting. I'll be honest with you, Kevin. I'm a little disappointed, man. I am a little disappointed.
You thought I was coming with heat?
Yeah, I thought you were coming with heat. I thought, man.
No. That's what I said. I just want to use it like an opening statement just to open the floor up to opinion and whatnot. Because we talk.
Okay. Since you didn't want to go for my head, I'll go for your head, and I'm not going to miss. Pause. Yep.
Pause.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Jiraiya's death was the complete circle. Okay, he died fulfilling his role as a teacher, and his message was the literal key to the rest of the series changing. Without him dying, let's say Jiraiya survived. Pain is gone. Naruto doesn't need to level up, and the series just goes on. I mean, the whole Madara stuff never gets to be realized. At least maybe the series just shifts to something else. But Jiraiya needed to die, basically, for the story, for the whole of, the story of Naruto to actually make sense. So his death was pivotal to the series. Ace's death was not pivotal to the series. Whether Ace lives or dies, Luffy is still going to be king of our pirates, regardless. Ace was not, the story didn't revolve around him. So it's not like, oh my God, Ace is still alive. Now Luffy can stop searching for the One Piece and everything could go back to normal. No, absolutely not. If Ace is still alive, the story doesn't really change, right? So Ace's death was tragic and it catalyzed Luffy's growth to some degree. But Jiraiya's death felt like the soul of the show shifting, literally. Like, Naruto didn't just get stronger. He inherited a philosophy as a result of Jiraiya's death. Plus, that popsicle scene, bro. Come on, man.
Oh, bro.
What are we talking about here, man? Like, come on. And look, I love seeing Akainu punch a hole in Ace's, chest, right? Pause.
Looking like Krispy Kreme. Looking like Krispy Kreme.
I love that
That's
scene.
a
I'm
pause.
sorry. I'm sorry. I love that scene. Okay. But Jiraiya's death was also cleaner. Like, let's talk about how much
Dear Lord.
impact that had on a community, man. Like, we're still talking about Ace's death to this day, right? But you can argue that Ace's death, like the way it happened, like it just wasted a lot of effort, because up until that point, like if you really think about what went on into it, the whole crew pulled up to save him. His whole crew pulled up to save him. Luffy's whole crew, well, his immediate crew notwithstanding, because they're all scattered all over the island, thanks to Bartholomew Kuma, right?
The GOAT.
Right. But the whole Impel Down crew came to save Ace. They all pulled up.
And Whitebeard's crew.
I know, his, like, Ace's crew.
Oh, okay,
And
my bad.
he basically just sacrificed himself over a Yo Daddy joke. Like it was like what? Like, wait, what? Made no sense. And then Jiraiya's, see, what we need to realize is this, man. Jiraiya had to die. Okay? Jiraiya had to die. Ace died because he chose to die. There are levels to this, man. And when you're talking about anime deaths, you don't get credit for choosing to die. Okay? You choose, like, you get credit. Like, the anime deaths that really, really matter. Like, look at Commander Irwin, right?
Oh, like a goat. But not like a champ.
Literally.
Listen, if Commander Irwin didn't die, man, what are we talking about here, man? Levels.
Easily one of the best speeches ever.
Levels.
Hands down.
Levels, man. So that's what I got to say, man. Ricardo, take it away, man.
Well, man, Kevin, I respect your opinion, man. You're my dogs. Ace's death was straight up pure stupidity. You feel me?
We can definitely agree on that.
You see, the thing is, before I get into why Jiraiya's death was more impactful than Ace, let's look at Ace for a second here, guys. Shanks told Whitebeard to tell Ace not to fight Blackbeard. Blackbeard told Ace not to fight Blackbeard. Ace himself ultimately decided to fight Blackbeard by ignoring not one, two Yonkos of not to fight this man, because Shanks knew the potential of what Blackbeard had within his devil fruit before he grabbed Whitebeard's devil fruit and viewed Blackbeard as a big time threat in the One Piece world. That is number one. Number two is that when Ace was freed in Marineford, all they had to do was just bounce, like deuces. But no, Ace convinced his both crews, Luffy's alternate crew that he got from Impel Down and Whitebeard's crew, to stay in order to take over Marineford, which was eventually going to be a losing battle. Those two reasons alone is why I don't even shed a single tear on Ace's death. I would just sip my wine like, that shit is shallow and pedantic. That nigga gone. While look at Jiraiya's death. Gentlemen, Jiraiya's death was the closest thing to Jesus Christ's crucifixion. Oh, dear Lord, Heavenly Jesus. I've never saw a death looking like that. Ever. Kevin, you want to know one of the biggest things on how Jiraiya's death was impactful? You got people today that does YouTube reactions, and they're crying like little bitches over Jiraiya's death, and they don't watch Naruto for 2.5 weeks. They are traumatized by this man's death. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, Kenny.
Kevin, by the way, he's saying all of this while wearing a Pain shirt. Like,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The fucking, yo.
You feel
the
me?
Nerve.
Let me
the
tell you
nerve
something.
this man has.
I gotta stand up for this one. You see, ladies and gentlemen?
Don't get me wrong.
Wait. I'm not done with my point.
He's not done. He's not done.
You see this shirt? The origin of the Akatsuki right here.
Wait, is that Jiraiya on the side?
Absolutely. Right here.
Oh, Lord.
Absolutely. Right? If you want this shirt, get your shirt at enrichanimeclothing.com. No, .org. I'm sorry. enrichanime.org. Anyway.
That's crazy. Yo, that's crazy. I didn't even see Jiraiya on that.
I didn't even know. Yeah, I was like,
damn straight.
Confused.
Because going to Jiraiya's death, Kenny makes an excellent point. If Jiraiya didn't die, we would not see the war. You can make a legitimate argument. If Jiraiya didn't die, Naruto would lose to Pain.
They wouldn't fight. They would have never fought because Jiraiya would have beaten Pain.
No, I'm saying if Jiraiya got away. I'm saying
okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
he would have beaten Pain. He would have beaten Pain because Jiraiya would have gotten all the information. It just related to Naruto. and then
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
he
But
could have still beaten Pain. That's what I'm saying.
okay.
He could have still beaten Pain.
In terms of Jiraiya's death, look at Naruto, just what Kenny said on the aftermath. Every single arc was relating to Jiraiya's point of view of how he wanted to shape Naruto, the anime's philosophy as a whole. The war, Kurama, you look at Sasuke and Itachi, the whole 9 yards, right? The fact that Jiraiya's death changed the game for Naruto is something way more than barbecue chicken Ace did in Marineford. I wanted to say about that, man. Like, I ain't shedding a tear for that, man.
And Kevin, before you go, right? Just to piggyback off what this man just said, just so eloquently put.
Yes.
Jiraiya's death set off a chain reaction,
Mm-hmm.
right, of what's to come in the series, right? Like, we saw it. The moment he died, the whole series changed. Ace's death never had that type of impact on the show because he was not that type of character, right? Ace was an important character, but we're just finding out how important Ace is through flashbacks. But even then, even as important as he is now, going to like other countries, right? Before he eventually ran into Blackbeard, as important as that was, right? Ace going to let's be honest, Ace going to fucking Wano ain't that really? It's not really that important. I mean, it's important, but it's not really like important. Like
It's
Jiraiya's
laughable.
death,
It's laughable.
where he like, you get what I mean? So that's really it.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Honestly speaking, I can't really argue that too much. Frankly, it's like the facts speak for itself. Under normal circumstances, I'd fight tooth and nail for it, but it's like there's losing battles, and then there's this.
All right. So you're
It's
just
just
basically admitting that you just got your ass handed to you.
Yeah,
Got
I will say in terms of the anime, Jiraiya's death blows Ace's death out the water. No ifs, no ands, no buts. But why I was seeing in the beginning that it's less of the anime's impact that the death had, but it was more of like the in real world community that the death had on it. I definitely will say that people are definitely still reacting to Jiraiya's death till this day and whatnot, but the same thing could still be said for Ace. The amount of times I've seen people on TikTok or whatever just watching One Piece for the first time, and it's like they'll literally sit there in actual disbelief, crying their eyes out, talking about how this man died. But I think through all of it, it comes from the buildup. The death itself was, I'm not gonna lie, the death itself for me was just like, die, we move on.
Yeah.
But like, it was more so like what we had to do to get here to achieve this result. It's like saying you got a job interview and it's on the other side of town and you got this whole plan to figure out how to get to the other side of town, and all you got to do is catch this bus and everything else will be taken care of, and you're running for this bus full speed, whatever life does, whatever it does, you get set back a little bit, so now you're sprinting for this bus. You see the bus coming down the block, and then it's like you're doing everything in your power to wave this bus down, and this bus just passes you at the very last second. Like, it's like literally a hair as to how you missed this bus. That was like on a much grander scale how I feel the community reacted to Ace's death, just because of the amount of effort that this man Luffy had to put through just for you to die to a yo daddy joke. To the point where literally, like, we seen how deeply devastated Luffy was, and it was just like, I personally don't think I've ever seen someone react so badly to a death than Luffy did to Ace's, just in terms of like the physical representation of what that looked like. And the fact that like people like they'll break down and they'll cry and they'll sob and carry on and whatnot, but like Luffy literally looked like his brain was splitting into like splintered all over the place, to the point where you had Ivankov talking about he's gone past his limit and whatnot, and this is beyond like emotional trauma at this point.
And he was alone.
And this is like getting to the real like depths of the psyche and whatnot. It was just like watching that. There was a lot of understandable likeness to that situation, because it felt like you've come so far just to trip at the finish line, so to speak. And you're definitely right. Ace's death didn't contribute to really anything as far as like the furthering of the story outside of a personal lesson to Luffy. I'd say that Ace's story was more impactful, like outside of the flashbacks that we're currently getting. I'd say his life was more impactful while he was alive as a younger kid than it was now. Purely just because there were a lot of like hidden subliminal
Okay.
messaging in his conversations, and the fact that you as a kid in the world, you had to struggle. I honestly, there are definitely situations of children struggling like on birth and whatnot, but I don't think I've ever seen like a display of like parental concern like I did with Ace's mother and him. Like keeping your child in the womb for an extra month because you didn't want your child to be executed on birth for sins that
Yeah,
they
fam.
haven't committed
Yeah,
was crazy.
yeah. That's
Right.
cute and all,
No,
but
no,
we
no,
don't
don't get me wrong.
care.
It's not changing. It's
We
not
don't
changing
care.
my tune. It's not
Yeah,
changing
we don't
my
care
tune.
about that. We
I just
don't care.
like it was
Okay, this ain't about
definitely- it was-
Ace's mama.
You're right. And like Ace himself, it was just like he struggled with identity from a very early age simply because of the fact that he didn't know if he earned the right to exist. And it was something that they constantly touched on. So like even with that in mind, the fact that like his death meant so little is just like, like, that's why it's like it's
Look,
not really a comparison between
Kevin,
the two.
Kevin, this is not a eulogy. This is not a this is not a funeral.
Between the two,
Hold up.
between the two,
This is
it's
not a funeral.
comparison.
This is not a
This is definitely
eulogy.
not a comparison.
Ace,
You're
his
absolutely
death, Ace's death
Ace's
was
death was
pure
more
based
impact-
out of no. It was not. Ace's death was based on pure stupidity. This man was
it most
warned
definitely
by
was.
2 Yonkos.
You're
okay?
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But at the same time, even in that, it's like
Ignorance is
rationally-
bliss.
rationally, I would have definitely adhered to the 2 Yonkos and the decision that they made. They have way more experience. They're stronger than me. They've seen way more life than I have. But at the same time, I can understand where Ace came from in his decision to pursue Blackbeard, purely because of the fact that Whitebeard's ship was a family.
But Kevin, Kevin, I'm veering.
I get that.
Yeah, you are. Like, stick to the dying stuff, man.
Okay. As far as the death is concerned, I think it impacted the community a lot more than Jiraiya's death, but I think Jiraiya's death impacted the anime tenfold of what Ace's death did.
Okay. And so it and you're wrong. Jiraiya's death was Jiraiya's death wasn't just shocking. It was inevitable and it changed the landscape, not just for Naruto, the anime community, dogs. And that's a fact.
It's not.
You know that moment we saw the sunset with Tsunade and Jiraiya, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there was a reckoning, right? There was like this aura in the air, like you knew, man, this man Jiraiya ain't making it back, bro.
Yeah,
He
that's
ain't
why
coming back.
I love
Yo,
this.
and you know
what's
what's-
he ain't
coming
coming
back
back
to the village?
You know what sucked about that scene, Kenny? It was that like Tsunade finally realized she loved him, bro.
And I didn't give a damn. I didn't give a damn. Like you sitting here on some, you over here on some.
Me neither.
I feel you.
I want to
One
die.
tier.
Give a shit.
Listen, when bro was there trying to give it all to you, you wasn't hearing none of that.
You wasn't
I
hearing
felt
The
that.
that.
moment you knew
I
he
felt
wasn't
that.
coming back, it's like, damn. Like, shut your lame ass up. Ain't nobody trying to see you.
That's
Exactly.
why we always say, man, bros before hoes, and that's why with Jiraiya, man, you want a bros. Anyway,
Simple.
moving on to the next segment, which is Dragon Ball Super. So, obviously, as we all know, the Galactic Patrol arc is coming up for Dragon Ball Super. We don't know when and which year is going to be released, but we all know it's going to come out. And my main man, Kenny, King Kenny, ladies and gentlemen, that's my dogs, right, has a problem with the classic Dragon Ball storytelling that's been rinse and repeat over and over and over again. Now, I asked this, fellas, obviously I'm going to start with you, Kenny. Can the Galactic Patrol arc that's coming up in Dragon Ball Super surpass the current gen anime with the classic Dragon Ball storytelling?
This is a very touchy subject for a lot of anime heads out there, the old heads like us. Okay, like we've been watching anime since we're in diapers, basically. So I get that. So let me just acknowledge that for a second, okay? But I think it's time that we stop it with this bullshit notion that Dragon Ball and the whole franchise, the whole Dragon Ball franchise as a whole, I'm talking about Super, Z,
GT,
Diamond.
everything.
GT, everything.
Yeah.
Holds a candle to these new gen animes when it comes to storytelling and animation and fluidity.
Just in
Okay.
case people, just in case people, he's the new current gen is Jujutsu Kaisen, Demon Slayer, Attack on Titan, Chainsaw Man, just to name a few. Can you
Yep,
go
just to
ahead?
name a few.
Would we say
Because
Attack on Titan's new gen?
That yes,
Attack on Titan, yeah. I mean,
yes,
it is because
yes.
it's
Okay,
not
okay,
in
okay.
the, it's not because it's not in the Bleach, One Piece, Naruto era. It's not.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
okay,
not.
okay, okay.
Yeah, but for the sake of this debate, I'm just going to list that because Attack on Titan has ended. So I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
going to be listing the current gen anime that are still ongoing, which is Jujutsu Kaisen, Demon Slayer, and Chainsaw Man. Those are the three that I'm going to be alluding to when I'm talking about the Dragon Ball Z franchise. The Dragon Ball Z franchise holds a really special place, not only in my heart, but I'm pretty sure in both of your hearts too, as well as a lot
Yes.
of the anime community. But it's time that we fucking grow up, man, and start having these conversations. Dragon Ball franchise, the whole Dragon Ball franchise as a whole has a problem, okay? And it's with the storytelling. And you cannot tell me that if Dragon Ball Z, right? Dragon Ball Z, I'm not talking about Dragon Ball Super, I'm not talking about Dragon Ball GT, I'm not talking about Dragon Ball Z. If Dragon Ball Z were to drop, let's say Dragon Ball Z never existed before now, right? And it's a new anime and it dropped in the middle of Jujutsu Kaisen, in the middle of Demon Slayer, in the middle of a Chainsaw Man, in that same time slot. Let's say it's a fall time slot, or a winter time slot, or summertime time slot, or a spring time slot. It would not do as well as it did back in the 90s. Let's just acknowledge that for a second. Anime has changed drastically, okay? And to sit here and lie to ourselves and be disingenuous and say, oh, well, the old anime, right? Like the old anime, like the grandfather of them all, Dragon Ball Z, that it could, right? At least in terms of mainstream, Dragon Ball Z is the granddaddy of them all in terms of mainstream. We can't lie to ourselves and say, hey, anime has been stagnant. And it's been so stagnant that if we were to put Dragon Ball Z, that same format, if we were to take that and put it in today's era, it would do as well. Because it would not. It wouldn't. Okay? Like we have to be honest with ourselves here and just realize that Dragon Ball as a franchise is not what it used to be. We crave storylines, we crave character development, we crave great animation, right? And we just crave a willingness for our characters to feel like they're human, right? Because these are all fictional characters, right? But the emotions that they go through are very, very real, right? And you can relate to it, and I can relate to it as well. Dragon Ball Z does not do a good enough job of giving us that feeling, right? We feel the rush of the fights, the big fights, but at the end of the day, that's really all we remember. We don't remember character development because there is basically drastically none, right? We see Goku. Outside of Goku, maybe Piccolo, Gohan, right? And Vegeta, right? Outside of those four, probably very little character development being done, right? So when we're talking about like these new gen anime, a Dragon Ball, the Galactic Patrol arc, I don't like it. And I'm not really well versed. Like I've read a little bit of the Galactic Patrol arc, but I'm not too well versed in the rhetoric and in the format that was used in that arc, right?
Okay, that's
And
fair
I'm
to
pretty
say.
sure it's going to be adapted. And I'm pretty sure but I'm pretty sure it's going to be adapted 1-to-1, right? Where whatever happened in the manga would then translate into the
Yes, the anime.
anime.
Yes.
Now, going by that logic, I don't believe that it's going to be in the top 5 slot when it comes out compared to the animes that we have in today's society. So they got a lot of work to do. Unless they have these drastic changes where they at least get us to care about the secondary characters, like like I don't know, Trunks or fucking
Goten.
what's the other name? Goten or Bulma. I don't know. Get us to care about somebody else. Like have us invested. Like make a story, like make an arc about Bulma or something and what she's going through or something. Like do something. Do something different. I can't just sit here and wait for Goku's next transformation, right? Yeah, it's fun, but if that's it, how are you gonna compare with Jujutsu Kaisen, bro? How are you gonna compare with Demon Slayer? How you gonna compare with Chainsaw Man? Like, how you gonna compare with some of these heavy hitters, man? How? If and the thing is this, if they can compete with all of those other animes, that means anime has not changed since the 90s, right? And that would be disingenuous to say because we do know that it has changed since the 90s. So that's all I really have to say about that. What are your thoughts?
Kevin, go ahead, bro.
Those are some excellent points, Kenny. I definitely will say, to say the least. As far as the original question goes, do I think this latest Galactic Patrol arc can compare to modern day anime?
Surpass.
I'm gonna also surpass. I'm also gonna say no. And
Okay.
that has a lot to do with what Kenny said. And I will start by saying that I think the reason that is purely lies in the fact as to the era differential. Like when Dragon Ball came out, it was one of the first of its kind, and things didn't have to be overly complicated. It wasn't necessary for it. I won't say that it was impossible at the time because we've seen what One Piece is doing right now, the generational run that it's on with storytelling, the plot devices, how deep it goes, and whatnot, to the point where, as a matter of fact, shout out to Oda, just got confirmed as, I believe, the best author with only one piece of work, I think it is. Something like that. I'd have to go find it.
No pun intended, but
Insane.
good shit.
Yeah, right. Like it definitely exists. But at the same time, I will say that because of this era differential, Dragon Ball being one of the first, if not the first of its kind, it was literally just Akira Toriyama just writing what he thought would be entertaining. And I think over the years, the goalpost has moved. So now it's no longer about just entertaining. And it's about, as you said, like deep character relatability, growth, and like the touching on of all these different characters that like bring the story together. I think that the way Dragon Ball is at the moment is just, it's still on the trope of I'm just here to entertain and I'm feeling a lot of nostalgia. That's pretty much it. And it's like realistically speaking, I never looked at Dragon Ball as the anime to feel that like deep meaning craving that I have for anime. I've always looked elsewhere simply because I understood what Dragon Ball was in its entirety. I definitely think after a certain point, we started to focus on like 3 or 4 main characters, as Kenny said, and we didn't really touch on anybody else after a certain extent. Because as far as like, I think the most important thing as far as like character wise we have for like a character like Bulma is the Future of Trunks movie and how we see what the world looks like 13 years later after the main Z fighters are dead and it's only Gohan and Trunks and Bulma basically running the show, and we see what that looks like. It's an emotional thing for us as the community to watch. All of our favorite characters are gone and there's only 2 or 3 left, but since things like that we haven't like touched on these things whatsoever. It's literally just the same. The way arcs break down for Dragon Ball is it's like story is nice and all, we're talking about different things, new planets and worlds and whatnot, but after we reach the halfway arc, or the halfway point I should say, it becomes very clear that if your hair can't change color, you have absolutely no relevance. And that's just the truth of the matter. Comparing it to a lot of the new gen animes now, we've moved the goalpost from entertaining to actually getting deep with our stories. And it's just like, I won't lie and say that all of them are like that, because if I'm being honest, as an anime watcher since before the Great Shift, I've had to sit here and watch all of these terrible seasonals come out just because we're pumping shit into the ecosystem, so to speak. Like the Isekai pandemic was disgusting, I'm gonna be honest. And personally, it hasn't ended. Like every season, we got like 3 or 4 isekais coming out, and all of them are the exact same story with just different looking characters, and it made me sick. Like even like, okay, Demon Slayer, Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu Kaisen. I'll throw My Hero and Attack on Titan in there because they're freshly ended. My Hero more than Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan is easily one of the best animes I've ever watched from a consumer standpoint, an author standpoint, and just like a writing standpoint in general. It's up there, top 5 of all time in terms of writing and how deep it goes to detail to bring all of these plot devices together to make Attack on Titan what it is. Like Demon Slayer, I will say that out of all the new gen, it's definitely at the bottom. Like it has amazing animation. Shout out to Ufotable, by far the best animating studio on the planet. Been doing it back since Fate, right? But outside of that, Demon Slayer doesn't really have anything like new to introduce to the storyline. It's just, oh, we're hunting demons. You know, the same old, my family got killed, my now motivation to move forward. and get revenge. That they kept it pretty simple. I don't know much about Chainsaw Man. I personally tried to get into it, but I didn't really like Denji's character, and for me, I really have to like a main character, but I just didn't really mess with it, so I kind of left it alone. So I don't really know too much about it, so I won't talk on it. Like Jujutsu Kaisen, I really like. The story itself, I can take it or leave it, but it definitely has that relatability, those deep moments, the very deep character bag that we talk about just about every character, if not a wide spread of characters, that give us that sense of, oh wow, we're actually talking about this. Like My Hero was amazing in that regard. If you want to talk about character development, one of the best characters till this day, Bakugo.
Yeah.
I love it when characters start at the bottom, because in today's anime, I know that a character like that, especially when they have a main role, have so much potential to grow. And that's why Bakugo is one of my favorite characters from day one, simply because I knew what would have happened as a result. And I don't remember the name of My Hero's author, but he did his big one with Bakugo. Easily one of the best pieces of character development in all of anime. So we get that. Like, there are a lot of animes today, the new mainstream, we start to touch, like the ones that aren't continuing franchises. So we're not talking about Boruto, we're not talking about Bleach. None of these like things that started back then and they're now like relevant now. We're talking about like the fresh new stuff. They have elements to the game that the 90s era, the early 2000s era didn't necessarily have in spades, just because they were more focused on getting this media to a much bigger audience. So what can we do to entertain, captivate, and retain this audience? But now that the great shift has occurred, it's like, okay, we no longer need to worry about entertaining, captivating, and retaining. We can actually focus on getting it deep into the nitty-gritty, touching on different plot devices and all these themes that people love to be able to relate to in these fictional characters that they see, to make it seem a little bit more real to themselves. So I definitely don't think, even if Dragon Ball Super is to change some things, because it's a continuing franchise, the bag is too deeply ran at this point for any real significant change for them to do. I think if anything is going to happen as far as what we're talking about, it would be after we've caught up to the manga and we're past a certain point and we haven't seen any of these things yet. Now we're talking about a place where they can lay the groundwork for some meaningful and pivotal change. But as of right now, Dragon Ball Super doesn't hold a candle to new gen anime.
Okay, I'm not gonna hold you. That was the longest 18 minutes ever. But anyway. So let's get back to the original question, please. It said, can the Galactic Patrol arc, specifically the arc, surpass the current gen anime with classic DBZ storytelling? I think it can, because yes, you guys, we mentioned the current new gen anime: JJK, Demon Slayer, Attack on Titan, Chainsaw Man, My Hero, etc. First, just in case for people that know, because we actually know some people in this generation that don't know what Dragon Ball Z. Excuse me. Let's just clear that, get that out the way. The Dragon Ball Z storytelling progress based off clear villain progression, the training, loss, and comeback narrative. Basically, what Kenny said: rinse and repeat, and moral simplicity based on an epic scale. Now, the reason why I say, and I think it can, is due to the upcoming arcs that the Galactic Patrol has. You guys are basically touching based off storytelling, character development, animation, based off how the new gen currently has that the old gen does not have. Well, with the moral arc coming up, and Kenny, I understand that you didn't read the majority of it, so I don't want to say any spoilers to you, so I'll be careful. Right? But with the moral arc coming up, it brings back the real stakes of what the Dragon Ball franchise is originally about, in which the new gen, the majority doesn't know or haven't even seen, right? As the last two arcs that we got from Dragon Ball, it was the Tournament of Power and I think it was the Goku Black storyline. Am I right? Right before the Tournament of Power?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Right? So those are the only two stuff that this current gen knows of Dragon Ball as a whole. But they don't really know about the villain progression, training, loss, progression, comebacks, moral simplicity, in terms of everything like that, in terms of relating to Dragon Ball. And it comes full circle based on what the Dragon Ball franchise is about, because with the classic Dragon Ball storytelling, the way how it always has been overall as a whole, it's actually dominated even when the current gen was still going on. When Attack on Titan was still going on, Dragon Ball Super was going on. Dragon Ball Super was number one for a good while. Now, I'm not saying it beat Attack on Titan, but Dragon Ball Super was number one over One Piece, Attack on Titan, Naruto to some degree because it was still showing on, and a certain other animes that was still going on during around that time was going on. Yes, fix your faces. I'm saying it. Yes, I'm saying it. Yes. I believe with the classic storytelling, the Dragon Ball franchise is still good. It still can compete with the current animes today. And hell, sometimes I don't even think that the current gen anime today could compete with Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, I said it, niggas. I said it. Mm-hmm.
Wait, hold on.
Okay, can I ask a question?
Hold on.
So let me ask you guys a question.
Ahead,
since you brought up the new current gen anime, do you believe My Hero Academia is better than Dragon Ball Super?
In terms of storytelling, yes.
Minus fucking Deku crying every episode.
Can't, because he's part of the story.
Okay,
can't take that out.
All right. To keep things real simple, to keep them super simple. Yes, I do think My Hero is better than Dragon Ball. And I think as far as what you brought up about like Dragon Ball Super still doing it 2017, like over One Piece, Attack on Titan, all that. As far as that's concerned, you subtract the populace that was watching it since back before the Great Shift, and then go look at those numbers.
Yep.
And I say this from a place of I love Dragon Ball Z, and it's been a pivotal part in my life. But looking at it for what it is right now versus back then, Dragon Ball Z does not compare. Like, it's very simplistic, and I love it for that. But as I said, the goalpost has moved. Outside of the nostalgia-filled fans that are just waiting for Dragon Ball Z to return, when you look at Dragon Ball Z for what it is, outside of that fan base, it's not really putting up the same amount of numbers that a story like My Hero is gonna put up. Like, it's something fresh. It has a lot of new ideas, and they go about things in a way different manner than Dragon Ball Z.
Let me ask you this question. Well, I'm sorry, Kenny. Then let me ask you this question. Obviously, Dragon Ball Daima finished, like, I think it was last year. Doesn't that correlate to your argument based off like something new to the table that Akira Toriyama brought in and try to keep up with the anime and etc. based on the new gen?
Yeah, but did
it do that?
But did it work though?
Not really.
Did it work
not
though?
Really.
Because let's be honest.
Okay, go ahead, Ken.
Let's be honest about Dragon Ball Daima for a second. Okay, what the hell did it do? What the hell did it do for the new gen? It was consistently mediocre at best. The highest rated episode is probably like, I don't know, an 8.2, and that's probably like the episode that Kid Goku went Super Saiyan 4. That was it.
And that's filled with the nostalgia that all of us want of Super Saiyan 4 becoming canon.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly. That's it. There was nothing that it presented, right, to the anime fan base. Like, it didn't have the impact that Frieren had, right? It didn't have the impact that One Piece had. One Piece is still on a generational run, right? Didn't have any depth that Jujutsu Kaisen had. Didn't have any depth that Chainsaw Man had. So we can't, like, and Ricardo, listen, man, I respect everything that you said about Dragon Ball. And I feel like for our generation especially, it's hard to let go of what got us into anime in the first place. But you have to realize something here, right? And I'm speaking to everyone that has the same energy that you have about Dragon Ball. We got to let this shit go, man. It's time. It's time, because you realize, right, that we're grown now, right? We're not 6 years old anymore. Leave Dragon Ball to like the 6-year-olds. Okay? We need new shit. Like, we need shit that we can actually relate to. How can you, like, think about it. If Tien died, would you be sad?
You wouldn't care.
If fucking Raditz came back to life and died, would you be like, actually, if Raditz came back as a villain, would you be happy?
I think
there's only like a few characters. My main point is this: there's only a few. And before you go, Kevin.
Yeah, I got you.
There's a few characters that we jump out of our seats for. When you die in Dragon Ball Z, it doesn't mean anything. It does nothing. Like, dying means absolutely nothing. So why fight? Just for the fun of it? What's the story? Ricardo? What is it? If the whole planet Earth gets blown up, okay, that's easy. They can wish it back. Done. So what's the point? What's the point? Like, what the fuck is the point? Answer that for me, please. Kevin, please, let him answer that. Please, what's the point?
Who's and his friends going around the world collecting Dragon Balls, fighting villains to go after the world.
There we go.
I
rest my case.
Yeah. And
I rest my case.
And I won't knock you for it. I will not knock you for liking that, right? I can't. I won't. Because honestly, myself, I used to view, not too long ago, I used to view Dragon Ball Z as mid.
Man, that's funny.
And no, not even.
What?
I'm sorry.
It was mid.
I used to rate Dragon Ball as great. I used to rate it as great before. Now I rate it as mid, simply because I've taken my nostalgia, I've taken all my childhood feelings out of the mix, and I set them aside, and I look at Dragon Ball Z just for what it is. No added feelings, no added emotions, none of that. Just looking at it for what it is. And it's, when I say mid, you know, a lot of people have this negative connotation on it just because of how the word is phrased in today's society. But to me, it just means it's average. It's not good and it's not bad. Like, at the essence of it, it's literally just Goku getting up every day, the adventures of Goku, what happens and the interactions between them, and the, as you said, the villain progression, the comeback, all that. After a certain point in time, the formula just became that, and that's all it was. And I can't say it's bad for that, because it's doing what it's good, how it's doing it. Like, Dragon Ball never came out and was like, oh, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. No, it was just Goku and friends, everyday life. What happens. We take it a day at a time, and that's all it's ever been. But that's why I can't say it's anything more than mid, just because when it has its peaks of peaks in those fights, it's like, whoa, this right here, clock it. Outside of that, there's not much to talk about as far as transformations go and who's stronger in a fight. That's literally it. I went and pulled up the top rated 9 episodes of 2025, right? Just to use some point of reference. Out of the 9 episodes here, One Piece sits in, I believe, 5 of these slots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these slots. Hold on, am I tripping? 1, 2, 3. No. Yeah, 5 of the slots. I'm tripping. 5 of the 9 slots are One Piece. Just to use as a point of reference of an anime that started back in the 90s, but they actually had a story that they wanted to tell. All of these episodes are in the same arc, just talking about the backstory of one of their side characters and what it looked like from his perspective.
As a side character.
As a side character. Kuma is easily, and anyone can fight me over it. I don't care. Come one, come all. Kuma is single-handedly the best side character in all of anime. In terms of emotional impact, and as far as story relevance, as far as what like his character means to the entire story, the representation, it's just about unmatched. You definitely have some heavy hitters in there, but we have literal fathers all over the planet doing the Kuma dance with their daughters.
I remember
Kevin. Now that you brought this up, okay, I'm inclined to mention this. I'm gonna do it real quick.
Got you.
Speaking of Kuma, that's what a real father looks like, by the way.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. That is what a real father looks like.
You see that? That's what a real father looks like. Okay.
That is what a real father looks like.
Okay. Yes. Not that
fathers in all of anime too. Not even top 5, top 3.
He might be number 1. He might be number 1.
He might be number 1.
Bro.
He might be number 1.
And you know what's crazy? That ain't even his real daughter.
It's not his real daughter.
It's not his daughter.
That's the craziest thing.
Yup.
That's another example of a perfectly good narratively written plot device to further a story's agenda. Dragon Ball Z don't have that. Like, we have these moments.
You know something else? Kuma's better written than any character in Dragon Ball Z, and he's just a side character in One Piece.
He's just a side character in One Piece, and I don't want to make
Ricardo. There is no comparison, bro. I'm sorry.
And I can't debate that. I'm gonna quickly switch back to the main point of this segment, but just as a touching point, right? Even though One Piece is a 90s anime just like Dragon Ball Z, One Piece is one of the only mainstream animes that have such a deeply ran portfolio of its character roster to the point where when they're not talking about the Straw Hats and they're talking about another crew or side characters or whatever, it's one of the only animes that I can name off the top of my head where I'm like, nah, I don't really care about the Straw Hats right now. I'm more concerned about what's going on here. That's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about that Dragon Ball Z just doesn't have. And again, I can't blame Dragon Ball Z because when they started it, they had a very simple idea that they wanted to expand on, and I can't blame them for it. But outside of that, the anime itself is average. So you take away, you give this new gen populace this synopsis. You give them like a small little flashback, like really detailing what Dragon Ball Z has been up to this point, but you erase everything before the moral arc, and we just gonna go moral arc for like seasonal or any other mainstream anime, so to speak. You look at those two comparisons as to what's going on outside of all the nostalgia and whatnot, it's not gonna do all that well. Like, it's gonna be right there in the middle, not too good, but not too bad either. The transformations are nice. Yeah, that's nice. That'll fulfill everybody's needs for like all of 2 seconds. But then after that, it's like, all right, what else do we have to talk about? You know, all right, let's use Moro. He's the main villain. You know, what about his story is important? Like, you know, is there anything relatable in here that we can really like touch on that grabs us as an audience? No, he just want to kill people. All right, that's cool, I guess. But that's
Okay, I feel you. So let me just ask you. It's just a yes or no question, and I'll end it right here. Does Dragon Ball need to evolve?
Damn. I mean, as Kevin said, I think they're pause. They're far and too deep.
Yeah. I think at the point in time, yes, I'd say they're in too deep. Me personally, no. I don't think they do. Just because we know what it's about. We know what their narrative is. We understand what the point of their storytelling is. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't think they need to evolve, because then evolving would necessarily input, are we changing the narrative now?
Gotcha.
And that opens it up to that kind of questioning.
Gotcha.
But nah, I think Dragon Ball is fine where it is.
All right, I respect it.
Yeah, I mean, they're fine being mediocre, you know, and that's okay.
That's okay. You accept you for what you are.
We need mediocre. We need, like, and people got to understand this. We need mediocre animes, okay? Otherwise, how would, like, if everything is good, we will be desensitized to great anime, right?
Yeah.
And the great animes will then become not so great because
If
we would
everything
be
is
used to
special,
it.
then nothing is special.
Exactly. So
Right.
we need mediocre animes.
Okay, I would never call Dragon Ball the mediocre, but I understand your point. Right now,
They're mediocre.
no, I would not say that's Dragon Ball Z. Shifting gears to One Piece. Now, I think we could all agree that we all love Brooke of the Straw Hats. Brooke is, if there was someone you need right next to you by your side, it's Brooke. Now, Brooke's big time moment as of right now was when he fought Big Mom and Whole Cake Island 1v1 for the Poneglyph. Gentlemen, just in case what the audience don't know, in terms of One Piece, what Brooke did against Big Mom, he stole the Poneglyph, disrespected a Yonko, went one-on-one against Big Mom, in her prime, by the way, at the time when Big Mom was viewed as the most powerful Yonko in One Piece before Kaido came into the picture, and lived. Yeah, I know he has the soul fruit, but y'all know what I mean.
Yeah, we ain't concerned about that. She could have sent his ass to the afterlife.
She could have, but didn't. Brooke is the MVP.
Exactly.
That man was the MVP of Whole Cake Island, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm still mad about Oda to this
Almost
day.
definitely.
Yeah, I'm still mad to Oda to this day that Oda did not raise his bounty after that shit. I'm still mad about that.
Almost definitely.
His bounty should be higher than Usopp's. And Usopp has been a simp since Dressrosa. But I'm not going to get into that right now.
Wholeheartedly.
Now, in the One Piece manga...
Hold on. Spoilers incoming.
Spoilers, good
incoming,
call.
So
good call.
If y'all don't read the manga, skedaddle.
Right. So, but just in case, going back to the One Piece manga, they're currently in Elbaf, and Brooke is on the verge of fighting Gunko. And for people that read One Piece chapter 1171, there was a small moment where Gunko was slowly getting back to normal based outside of Imu's power, and we learned that her name is Princess Shuri, in which it means that Gunko was royalty. Now, we don't know who what her background is, but Brooke sure knows who it is. Now, I bring her up for a reason, and I brought up Big Mom for a reason, because when Brooke fought Big Mom, that was aura right there. That was his moment. But I personally believe if Gunko fought Brooke, I believe that will surpass that. Because obviously Gunko is with the world government, she's with Hotata Holy Knights, and Tada with Imu. Do you guys believe if Brooke faces Gunko and if Brooke beats her with Imu's power, do you think it surpasses what he did to Big Mom?
Kenny, I'm gonna let you go first.
Okay, well, this is kind of a weird question because Brooke is not going to beat Gunko. Okay, he's not gonna magically 1v1 Gunko and then beat her. It's one thing to 1v1 someone. It's another thing entirely to beat him. Okay, anyone can 1v1 anyone. So to me, Brooke 1v1 Gunko doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, because what we anticipate is that Brooke will hold off Gunko until Luffy and the big dog arrives, okay, and Loki arrive to deal with Gunko and Imu. So I don't foresee this being something that Brooke can hang his hat on to lay claim to and to say, oh, this is a great feat. Or maybe it is, right? Because Gunko did attack him, right? And he did block him, right? I think that was a Conqueror's Haki coded attack, right?
Yeah, yes, I believe so.
Yes. Okay, yeah.
And
so
Brooke
that was a Conqueror's Haki coded attack that, and Brooke blocked it. So Brooke is scaling up right now. He's scaling up right now.
Gotta love it.
Significantly, okay? And what that means is that we can at least safely upscale the rest of the Straw Hats relative to Brooke, at least the ones that are stronger than Brooke. We can upscale them to some degree. So Zoro, right? We're looking at him in a new light now. Because if Brooke can block a Conqueror's Coded Aki attack from Gunko, imagine what somebody like Frankie could do. Or imagine what somebody like, Jinbei can do, right? So the whole crew elevates to some degree because of what Brooke's feats are right now, currently. However, I don't think this is a fight that we can hang our hat on with Brooke, because Brooke is not meant to defeat or flat out fight Gunko. His role there is a backup character. His role is to hold off until the big dogs arrive. Because we know Imu can go. We know Imu can go up late, like levels to this. Like, this is not the final form that Imu can, has deployed on Brooke. So if this is it, like if this is like the final form, then maybe Brooke has a chance. But I'm not reading too much into this. I don't think this is going to give us the same feeling that we got from Brooke when he faced Big Mom. There was a finality to that fight. And Brooke's job wasn't to fight Big Mom. Brooke's job was to infiltrate and get the poneglyphs. Right now, Brooke's job is not to die. How can you kill a dead man? You know what I mean? So he's probably not going to die, but I don't see us at the end of this arc saying, oh my God, I can't believe Brooke just beat Gunko. That ain't happening. I'm sorry.
Well, before you go, I want to ask you a question, Kenny, because I remember you brought up Brooke as a background character, and you make very good points in terms of his style of use within One Piece throughout the story. But we said the same thing about Robin, and she didn't have her big time fight until Wano, right? And for Robin, she was also viewed as a background or side character based on until she fought I forgot her name that she fought in Wano.
Black Maria.
Really? Thank you.
Really?
Because
another background character?
No, hold up. Because I'm not talking about Black Maria as a background character. I'm talking about how we viewed Robin as a background character until her big fight with Black Maria in Wano. So since Brooke didn't have a big time fight as of yet within the Straw Hats, I feel like this might be the one he might have.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, bro, but that couldn't be further from the truth, because Black Maria was a background character, and Robin, a background character fighting another background character in Black Maria, is not frowned upon. It's not beyond the pale. Okay, that was meant to happen. That should have happened. So it's not like we're sitting here today praising Robin for beating Black Maria. That was Black Maria. Black Maria's nobody. It's not like she sat there and beat King. Like, if she sat there and beat King, oh yeah. We be having a different story. But that's Black Maria. Come on, bro. Stop. Next.
Okay. I will say, before I Answer the main question. I will say in terms of relevance, I think there are definitely important like parallels between them in the sense that I think a lot of these background characters, or not even, I won't even say background characters, I will say secondary characters. These secondary characters in the midst of the main characters, I will say that a lot of One Piece has a very strong sense of there being more to the fight than just the fight itself. And we see this a lot. And just for like a small like touch on, I will say that we saw that with Robin and Black Maria. And the fact that Robin and Black Maria's fight was less about showcasing Robin's new level of strength, and it was more so about her like becoming synonymous with this identity that everyone refers to her as, and she's been running from it her entire life, and she came to accept that, hence that new demon-like form that we saw. As far as Brooke now, I agree with Kenny in the sense that I don't think he will beat her simply because of the fact that it's like she's a royal knight. I think there are definitely levels to this, and this is a Dami Reversi level knight at the same time. So that's something completely different within the same breath. I will also say that in terms of how it's seen to the world, I do not think Brooke's fight with Gunko will surpass his fight with Big Mom, simply because of who Big Mom was. If we're gonna weigh them both on a scale, Gunko versus Big Mom had everything going for her at the moment in time in which they fought. We have power, we have like relevance to the world itself, what she meant, her demonstration of being, all of that, versus a royal knight who's literally like a background character in the like stage of One Piece as we are right now. They're the people that move in the shadows and whatnot to a degree. And it's like, as we've learned coming out of Wano and Egghead, no matter who you are, it doesn't matter if you're three admirals and a buster call. It doesn't matter if you're the five Gorosei. It doesn't matter if you're a 3 billion berry bounty that just ended up fighting two Yonkos. If you aren't a Yonko or on that crew, it don't matter. So as far as Big Mom's relevance to it now, Brooke fighting Big Mom the way he did and stole the poneglyph was monumental. And I definitely do think Gunko's fight with him will be, as we've already discussed, an upscale with what he's shown us so far. But at the same time, I don't think it's a fight that's meant to have the conclusive end that we think. And to touch on what Kenny said, to spin it in a different direction, I think that based on what we've seen from Brooke in Elbaf so far and his involvement with Gunko, I think this fight isn't a fight that's supposed to be like, oh, I've beaten you and that's it. I think this is going to be a fight that leads into Brooke's backstory a bit, and we start to talk about what actually happened in his kingdom before the fall. Because we've touched on, through Elbaf, we've touched on little bits and pieces of Brooke's history as far as Gunko's involvement. And we've already learned that Brooke had a mentor, and this mentor was Princess Shuri's father. He took him in and made him who he is today. But at the same time, do not remember 100%, but I'm pretty sure it was touched on, or at least it was put up in the air for us to talk about the fact that the island itself, the island itself was ruined by Imu. That's how she got her hands on Gunko in the first place, or Shuri, I should say. I don't remember exactly, so don't 100% quote me. But I think this battle between them is definitely going to give us a much clearer picture of what that island looked like and how it met its demise, based purely on the interaction that they had in this latest chapter before Imu regained control. I think that at some point in this fight they're gonna have, her control over Gunko is gonna break once more, and that's gonna like make headway into a backstory, and then we'll come back to the actual fight itself when all the big dogs come in, and now it's like, all right, we're ready to handle business. But as far as, do I think Big Mom, Brooke, Big Mom, Gunko and Brooke, I think Big Mom's fight will forever be Brooks, unless we're talking about like Emu herself or their self. I don't think, based on the hierarchy of One Piece, I don't think any fight that Brooke has moving forward will ever surpass him fighting a Yonko one on one.
Well, I disagree in terms of like, and I'm not here knocking what Brooke did with Big Mom because I think that was monumental. I think that was box office. I think it changed the game for his character in terms of what he did against Big Mom. But the reason why I'm saying that, I'm not sitting here saying that Brooke is gonna defeat Gunko. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I feel like it's a different level of, it's a different type of thing in terms of this fight that he's gonna have with Gunko. Because like I agree with certain things that you said, Kevin, based on Brooke's past that he had with Princess Shuri and her background in relations to their kingdom, what happened to them in terms of how he actually got the so fruit and everything, right? But the reason why I believe it could surpass it is because to this day, you said it best, Kevin. We don't know of how Brooke got to that point, and we obviously don't know his soul-based powers as of yet, as it hasn't been revealed. Another thing is that the possible lore that could bring out of this altercation between Gunko and Brooke is based on what happened with him, the ancient world, and everything in terms of what happened to them. Thank you. In terms of what happened with them. And another thing on how what Brooke got more to the table in this fight other than what he just did against Big Mom. And that's what I'm really looking forward to see. Or what more he could bring to the table. Because you said it best, Kenny. He blocked an attack with a Conqueror's level attack which is based by Emu's powers. And Brooke blocked it. Which obviously reveals the further potential of the Straw Hats. Just like what you said. So despite what he did with Big Mom was big time, I believe this is much more of a defining moment for Brooke because he could put, I'm not going to say go all out for this against Gunko because he obviously has a relationship with Gunko because it remains to be seen. But I believe Brooke could reveal a lot more to the table than what he did with Big Mom. That's it.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, so I think, okay,
I mean,
in
you're
using
wrong.
using that, I will say that I think there's a distinction. I think in terms of political feats, I say that Big Mom and his fight will be the biggest one that he's ever had. But individual feats, I definitely think that this Gunko fight will definitely be better in that sense because we're talking on a lot of different things at this point.
Yeah,
like, as Kenny said, Conqueror's Haki, Donnie Versi,
and hold up, time out.
And if you think about it, if you go back to that fight he had against Big Mom, we didn't even see the duration of the fight. It was one and done, right? When it comes to Gunko and Brooke, we might actually see a full-fledged fight, bro. And you never know. And that's what I'm saying because you could tell there's history. There's history here. It's not like it's gonna like a one and done after when Brooke fought Big Mom, and next thing you know, we see Brooke sleeping with Big Mom with the pony glove under his robe, right? It's more of like the history that he might have with Gunko. That's exactly what happened in Whole Cake Island.
First of all, no.
No. That's not. I'm not saying he's gonna. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that based off this fight, I might see more out of Brooke than I saw with Big Mom. That's what I'm saying. All right, because there's history here.
We're gonna see a lot more on-screen presence.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot more to
You're
talk
wrong
about.
again.
There's a
You're
lot
wrong again.
more to talk about.
Because here's the thing: with Big Mom, he was literally fighting her one-on-one. With this one, he doesn't have to fight her one-on-one. He's got his crew behind him. So what are you talking about?
No, but that's why
he's
I made the
separated
distinction
from.
earlier
If you look back on, hold up. If you look back on the chapter, he's separated from the crew. He's by himself. So it is a one-on-one.
Yeah, they showed the map. They showed the map in the beginning of the chapter where everybody was, and he was off to a section on his
He's
own.
off. He's out with Nami,
Zoro.
and Chopper.
So Zoro is out in another world right now.
No.
They're currently dealing with the giant pirates. Gunko and Brooke
on
are
the same right.
Yeah, they're on the same thing because they just came up through the elevator. They're all on the same thing, but like Gunko and Brooke, they're off in like their own.
Yes,
thing,
they're by themselves, bro. 1v1.
Yeah, I don't see Brooke.
I don't see him. I don't know. We don't
putting in as much work as he
right?
did because the thing about this, like the degree of difficulty, is what we're talking about here. With Gunko, he just has to survive. That's basically it. With Big Mom, he had to survive and steal the poneglyph.
The stakes are. I would say the stakes are. So
I'm not jacking this whole thing. Right. I'm not jacking this whole thing about how Brooke gotta. No, Brooke only has to survive here. All he has to do is protect himself. With Big Mom, he literally was fighting for his life and trying to steal something that she knew he was trying to steal. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, I definitely will say in terms of like, that's what I'm saying, as far as like the look of it or the optics, Big Mom's fight with his fight with Big Mom will definitely be his biggest fight in terms of like an outside looking in point of view. Because to fight a Yonko 1v1 as a non-Yonko, regardless of your status, win, loss, draw, it's still a monumental feat.
And
you
live,
live to
bro.
tell the tale, and you stole,
and you escaped, and you stole.
Like,
come on, bro.
And this is
what
we're
talking about here?
We're talking about you're deep in their territory. You gotta make headway to get up out of here. So it's like this. I definitely will say the stakes.
Bro, he's fighting the final boss, bro. He's fighting the final boss in Big Mom when Luffy didn't even fight her. He wasn't.
Yeah. As far as but I will say that I would definitely will say that as far as what Ricardo's original point was, as far as on-screen presence, just because of what they have to offer, I will say that Brooke and Gunko's exchange will be more pivotal to Brooke's character than Big Mom and Brooke's is.
Yeah, but that's not the question.
Yes,
that's not the question though. That ain't the question though.
Because the thing is,
that was not the question.
The question, because I already answered the question. I think I said it. The question was, will it surpass his Big Mom moment? I said I think it will, right? Because like I said, I understand what Brooke did.
Right. The question is, will it surpass the Big Mom moment?
I said yes. And I explained why I said yes.
Yeah, but when you say surpass the moment, I understand that. But when you say surpass the moment,
yes,
it has to like significantly surpass. Like it has to go over.
So let me wait.
I don't think it's going over the Big Mom moment.
So look, Big Mom was aura, but Gunko could be the payoff because we all agree that Gunko, what's it called? The Holy Knights are above the Yonkos. Can we agree on that? To some degree?
Wrong.
No.
Nope. Not even close.
You are way off, bro. What the fuck are you talking about?
So my thing is with Brooke, I think it will be his payoff in terms of already being a significant character he already is. I'm not saying he's going to defeat Gunko. I never said that. But I believe by living and doing what he has to do against Gunko based on the history that they have, I think he could do it.
Ricardo.
It's what I do best. It's what I do, bro.
We go way back, bro.
Yeah, yes, we do.
We go way back, man.
Yes, we do.
There's no way that you can tell me that Shanks is losing to the Holy Knights. Luffy is losing to the Holy Knights.
I asked y'all a question. I never implied that they are.
You said no.
Sure, throw Kaido and Big Mom in there.
Mm-hmm. There's no way.
Okay, if you want to.
When old man Scopper Gabon low diffed Killingham, literally low diffed him, and we're supposed to sit here, right? When we saw Scopper Gabon not wanting to smoke with Luffy or Zoro, low diffed Killingham, and we're supposed to believe that an old man like that is stronger than the Yonkos? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying,
bro,
is.
Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. No.
You asked me a question.
I do not want to encrypt. No. Okay. If you say that a lot, I will not claim you. I'm just letting you know that right now, bro. Kevin, please take it away, bro.
I mean, technically we're gonna.
I definitely think as far as like.
It's gonna be uploaded on YouTube, so a lot of people's gonna be looking at this, man. So
listen, I'm saying is, as far as the Holy Knights are concerned, they're not holding a candle to the Yonkos. I'm sorry. Like, as far as we know, Rocks himself at the point in time, I definitely say he was Yonko level, so to speak, but he was nowhere near the peak of his power. And we seen what happened when they tried to jump Rocks on God Valley. They got beat.
Yeah, you saw what Rocks did to
Garland,
your boy Garland. You saw what he did to your boy Garland, right?
Saint Fraudling.
Oh yeah,
literally had to come back. He was moving crazy after the whole Dami Reversi fight. He said, "Yeah, we gotta take care of business real quick." Like, you didn't get beat up, God knows how long ago, and you come in to clean up the pieces of the main fight, and you trying to make it sound like you crazy. Nah, you're a fraud, buddy. Yeah. Those people aren't holding a candle to any of the Yonkos, old.
And you know what, yo, Kevin, you know what's also crazy? They all when the Holy Knights pulled up to Elbaf, They literally said, we don't want any smoke with Luffy and his crew.
Yeah, we
They
have one
made it
objective.
Yep, we have one objective, and that's to do what we want and get the hell out of here. We don't want to anger Luffy
Because
right
the
now.
fight, the repercussions that would come as a cause of that is too big. As a
It's too
matter
big.
of fact, as a matter of fact, it's like literally in this latest chapter, Killingham is focused on leaving the island, and the whole like the nightmares and whatnot, the fight with the giant pirates, literally he's more focused on escaping than he is on confronting the pirates. That's why when the ship got destroyed, he's like, shit.
Yep.
He's concerned. They're not trying to fight a Yonko crew. That's what I said. We've
Nope.
already established coming out of Wano and going into Egghead cemented it.
Oh,
but
yeah.
once you become a Yonko, there is no talking to a Yonko unless you're Emu themselves.
Mm-hmm.
The Gorosei ain't talking to a Yonko. The Holy Knights ain't talking to a Yonko. 3 billion berry pirates, none of that. If you're not a Yonko, don't talk to me. Or I'm sorry, you can't talk to me.
Yeah.
So,
Killingham was like, they would like, Ricardo, what I was telling Kevin, like when the Holy Knights pulled up to Elbaf, they didn't want any smoke with Luffy. They said it. They said it themselves. They were like, yo, we don't want any smoke with the Straw Hat crew, bro. That's not what we're here to do. We don't want to start shit with them. We just want to do this shit as quickly as possible and get the fuck out.
Yeah, that's literally it. That's why Emu's presence on the island is a backing of that fact, simply because of the fact that if Gunko is left alone, her personality, for one, and her relevance and strength to Brooke, another, she's not getting those kids out of there.
Nope.
So
They'll fail their
Emu
mission
has to- Emu
because
has
the
to
Straw
come
Hats are
through.
there. So
That's it.
right, Emu had to force himself in there and then take over in order to let the to even the playing field. But it's still
Yonko
not even
crews are
because
a different game.
different ball game. Once Luffy and Loki pull up, it's over. They know
It's
this.
done with.
They know this. Unless Emu comes down by himself, I don't see the Holy Knights winning this. I just don't.
And
I
as
never
a
believe
matter
they
of
will.
fact- As a matter of fact, I like to touch on like momentarily how it's a theory that I've been thinking about, that how like the Dami Reversi characters that Emu touches on only reflect how strong the person actually is. And that's why I think, me personally, I don't think he'll beat Gunko, but I think it'll be a really good fight, purely because of the fact that outside of her Devil Fruit power and that Conqueror's coding, I don't necessarily think that it'll be a spanking for Brooke. But at the same time, I don't think he's gonna beat her, even with Dami Reversi.
So you think it'll be
Dami
so you
Reversi-
think it'll be 50-50?
I think it'll be 50-50, and then the narrative and other characters will start to come into the mix that start to deviate from the original fight itself. Because I think when we saw because we've seen Dami Reversi, I think 3 times up until this point. We've seen it with Saint Saturn, we've seen it with Rocks, and now we've seen it with Gunko. And all 3 of them were at different points in power. I think her Dami reversing the person only takes away their will, and in a sense makes them stronger because they're not overcomplicating thoughts and whatnot, and they make things very simplistic. So it's just, I'm coming at you with everything I have. But at the same time, I also think the person's power in perspective matters a lot to who she Dami reverses. Because again, look, I think Rocks at the point in time, you could say he was Yonko level, but didn't have the official title. When she Dami reversed Rocks, it was way worse than Saturn. It was way worse than Saturn.
Yeah.
And Saturn's a Gorosei.
And Saturn's a Gorosei. Yeah, that's true.
So
that is
I
very
definitely think Hushi Dami reverses matters a lot, and because of the fact that she's Dami reversing Gunko, because of it's a mental fight she has to get through, and the fact that Gunko might not even be, because Brooke is on a Yonko crew, he commands a certain level of power, and the fact that this is a tactical stance we're taking. We're not coming at y'all like 1-to-1 because we'll lose. Yeah. So I definitely think Hushi Dami Reversi matters, and as to whether or not it actually does what it's supposed to do. But that's it.
Okay, moving on.
You got cooked.
Man, I don't care. Listen, people who's watching, it's okay to get cooked, barbecued, baked, fried on an argument. It's okay.
It happens to all of us.
Happens to the best of us. I'm still bald and beautiful. I'm just letting you know. Anyway, so basically, we had an earlier discussion based about Dragon Ball Z, JJK, Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, etc. Speaking of all those animes, which they're all great, by the way, some are mid, some are average, some are good. Top 5 all time, okay? No skips, no caps, straight to the point. Okay? I'll start with my top 5. I'll go from 5 to 1.
Okay.
Number 5. Number 5 is is biased. I'm not gonna lie to you. Number 5 is Hajime no Ippo.
Okay. Peak pick.
Number 4, it's Dragon Ball Z. No, I'm sorry, not Dragon Ball Z. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Okay, another peak pick.
Right? 5 is Hajime no Ippo. 4 is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Number 3, Naruto.
Okay.
Number 2, Attack on Titan.
All right.
And number 1 is the glorious One Piece.
Okay.
That is my top 5 of all time because I believe each anime that I just mentioned brought something different to the table. It changed the game in all facets. It affected the anime community, each one, by the way, in every different way imaginable. And last but not least, they were all just fucking fire, bro. Like I'm just saying, like it was just so great. But that's my top 5. 5, Hajime no Ippo. 4, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. 3 is Naruto. 2 is Attack on Titan. Number 1 is One Piece.
That's a good list, man.
That is
Thank
a good
you,
list.
All right, Kevin, take it away, man.
All right. Going from 5 to 1, we got, I believe, at number 5 is Magi. Number 4, yeah, that's a classic right there.
Sneaky good.
Number 4, we got Grand Blue. Number 3 is Reincarnated as a Slime.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. Yeah, number 3 is Reincarnated as a Slime. Number 2 is, the glorious One Piece, And then number 1 is Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple. Yeah. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm so happy these last couple days because after, I believe, 14 years, Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple is coming back. And I'm hype. I literally said among my dreams, I had one anime dream. And it was for me to make enough money in my career to offer a studio enough money to animate the rest of the manga and possibly continue the story. And then I heard about this and I was just like, somebody's listening. I was like, God is good. But that's me. So 5 is Magi. 4 is, oh shit, damn. 4 is, what the hell did I say 4 was? I don't even remember. But we'll skip 4. 3, Reincarnated as a Slime. 2, One Piece. 1, Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple.
You guys got some heavy hitters in there.
All right, Kenny, what's yours, bro?
All right, man. So my top 5 favorites. This list is not objective; it's subjective.
Yeah, this list,
which is
this
great.
is a very subjective list. These are
This
our
is subjective.
opinions.
These are our
and what we
opinions
enjoy.
about the animes
Yes.
that we enjoy and we love. That we
Yes.
like.
Yeah.
These are our top 5s.
So
Not
all of
Yes.
y'all
not
out there,
top 5 all time, but
yeah,
our
all of y'all out
favorites
there
all
that
time.
that want to say something, this is us.
Yes.
Our
Yes.
opinion.
Our personal favorites, yes.
All right, so my top 5. Number 5, Reincarnated as a Slime. My boy Kevin. He. Yep, it's up there,
My
man.
son Kenny
It's
knows
up there.
ball.
Listen, hey, you watched Slime before, Ricardo? You saw Slime?
Not yet, man. It's on the list.
Gotta tap in.
Yeah, tap the fuck in.
Got you.
All right, so that's number 5. Number 4, I got Demon Slayer at number 4, and number 3, I have Hunter x Hunter. Number 2, I have Naruto, and number 1, I have One Piece.
Okay.
Respect.
Respectable list.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
those
man.
are my top 5 and my favorite animes all time.
Awesome. I'm curious about something though. It's about your number 4th pick, Kenny, Demon Slayer.
I was gonna say something because he made a face, and I was like, "No, I hear it coming." But I'm like, let's see if we.
I didn't expect that.
What, Demon Slayer at number 4?
Yeah, I didn't expect that at all. Because the story is mid as hell.
Viewer enjoyment is showing right there.
Yes. Kevin, I've known Kenny for over 10 years, and this is one of my closest friends, man. And if there was one thing that I know of Kenny in terms of animation, this man loves to be entertained.
Yeah.
If something isn't box office, he will change the channel. Now, I'm not knocking his pick of Demon Slayer number 4. I just didn't expect it. I just didn't expect for it to be in his top 5 because Because Kevin, this is how I know he chose Demon Slayer. All I gotta say is just one fight. It was the fight in the entertainment district.
Yup.
That fight. Oh, when we saw that, my boy Kenny said, "There's not one anime that can compete with this fight." That year, because and Kevin, you know why he said that? Because Demon Slayer was fighting tooth and nail back to back with Attack on Titan final season.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Attack on Titan was head to head, and it wiped.
Crazy.
And I love Attack on Titan.
Love it too, bro.
Demon Slayer wiped it off the map.
Oh yeah, easily. That's what I'm saying. Listen, I touched on it earlier. Ufotable is the best animation studio on the face of the planet.
Yes, I got to admit, no question.
They've been doing it for too long, too well.
All right, now Demon Slayer is fantastic because I feel like the animation changed the landscape of Demon Slayer. Now it's gonna be great. It's gonna be fire. And so my nigga Asta comes in, my man Black Clover. I can't wait for that shit.
Ooh. Black Clover.
Ooh.
Yo, so real
up.
talk. So bro, real talk, right? I was debating putting Asta and Screw on this list, but I think the fact that they went on hiatus hurts them a little bit, right? But if they come back with the energy that we know they're gonna come back with, I think it's definitely gonna make me rethink this list.
It's okay.
But I mean, right now, I think, and the reason why Demon Slayer made it is because of that fight, and I think we gotta realize something here.
Can't
too,
knock
right?
that.
Like,
I was just
think we
surprised,
gotta give Demon Slayer and I think we gotta give Demon Slayer this credit too. Demon Slayer forced every single animation, right,
to step up.
It's to step up.
They most definitely did.
You like, and that's the thing, right? There comes a time, and I think Dragon Ball Z did this too, where
they did.
You are by far the best at what you do, and even if you have great storylines and character development, you still can't compare to someone that does one thing better than you and everybody else, right?
Yes.
To the point of where you just got to tip your cap. That's Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
With Demon Slayer, you just got to tip your cap and say, hey, listen, your animation is better than any storyline out there, right? It's
One
better
Piece
than
included.
any character development, right? It's better than any character development. We just got to tip our caps to you. You are just it.
Yeah, as far as animation is concerned, Master of One is far better than great at all.
Yes,
There we go.
To quote a great man, Bruce Lee. He said, "I fear not the man that I fear not the man that can do 10,000 kicks. No, 1,000 kicks.
1,000 kicks,
times.
yeah.
1,000 kicks, yeah. I fear the man that can do one kick 10,000 times."
Yes. So basically, just to
And that's Demon
paraphrase,
Slayer.
yeah, he was like, "I'm not afraid of the man who knows 1,000 moves. I know the man that knows one." Right, and actually, you know what's crazy? That perfectly resembles Zenitsu in Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Yep.
that's a great point. But that's it for the episode. Just in case, let us know your top 5 of all time. If you're watching this episode, glad
Your
to hear.
favorites.
Yeah, throw it in the comments.
Your favorite animes of all time. We just told we told you guys ours. We want to know what's yours in the comments. But this is Ricardo, my boy King Candy, my boy Kevin. Another good episode. See y'all soon. Stay safe out there. Peace.
Y'all be easy.
Later.
Can't stop it. I can't stop this shit.
You can't
The bloopers.
stop it. Why can't you stop it?
Nah, I got it.
Bloopers.
Well, it's still going on. Yep. The
It's
bloopers,
it is still going on.
I guess we still. Yep.
But this isn't the director's cut.
Yeah, it was a director's cut. Leave me alone.
This is the director's cut. It still says it's going on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Can we use the turn the heat, please?
I'm sorry.
It's like 2 degrees. I haven't seen you in a while. Feels like a while.
Yeah, it does. It's cool. I did heard you. You said
You know it's still recording, right?
yeah, it's fine. That's cool.
Also, I don't know if it's gonna send it to you, but I got a call. I didn't put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I got a call and like it cut the recording and then it picked back up.
No, I'll be fine. I got it.
Okay, cool. Hold on, let me try and leave and come back.
So, bro, I got to talk to you about your taxes.
Talk to me now.
Okay. So we got some. I mean, not as bad as last year, obviously.
No, I'm still recording. I don't know. Whatever. Or it's recording fresh, but whatever.
No, it's not record. I mean, I still. Oh, did you see it? Like Like, is it still like did the time reset on your end?
Yeah, the time
Yeah.
reset for me. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah, it's
The time
fine.
is
It'll
still
just stay
going
in the
for me.
studio.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not. This episode was definitely very. It was a lot more cohesive, I will say.
Yeah.
because
Oh,
it's
for
more
sure.
discussions than argument.
Yeah. But sometimes we gotta have that argument, though.
Of course, that's what the fans love.
Yeah, my phone's about to die. Yeah, I'm gonna call you back like in 5 minutes, but
Okay.
I gotta bounce.
All right, bro.
All right,
I got
Peace.
enjoy y'all Super Bowl tomorrow. I'm not a football fan, so it's
Oh
like
yeah,
you know,
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kenny, I'll call you in 5 minutes.
All right, bro.
I'm gonna see y'all.
All right.